What are your rule changes that you've come up with? Freddie, we're going to start off with your ones.
My first one, I get frustrated that when the ball's caught in the end goal or goes dead, that they can't throw the ball to the 20. I feel like this is a part of the game where we could have some unbelievable attack, changes of momentum. You know, you could sort of bring in and talk about whether you need 7 tackles or not. I think some kicks sort of maybe could be penalised more than others, but I think that whole process of going from the in goal to the 20 metre is ridiculous, where we can only throw it 10 metres, or you've got a player running 30 metres flat out. I just find that so unnecessary. Righto, number 2. Don't worry about number 2, that was part of number 1. Number 3, there's the free play. If someone makes an error and you pick up the ball, you get a free play. So you can come out. If you also knock it on, you go back to the original just indiscretion. So you get a free play. And then the last one is, I've always spoken about this, the NRLW should be using smaller balls. So at the moment, a touch footy is a size 4, an NRL ball is a size 5. I think every other sport just about in the world where you're using your hands, cricket, AFL, basketball, all use smaller balls for the reasoning of physics. So I think that's a no-brainer.
And if they did bring that in, you'd want it to be brought in sooner rather than later, because you don't want everyone getting used to that ball and then having to change the way that they play as well. So I think if you're going to do that, do it now.
Well, the bigger problem is we have 13-year-old girls playing with size 5 footballs. Now, that brings a whole different problem in actually holding the ball, you know, on your chest, getting tackled. So I feel like that needs to change straight away. But I think for the NRLW, I think that's definitely something that we should do. Olivia Koenig is the best player because she's one of the only girls that actually catches the ball in her hands nearly every time. Not many other girls can do that. And that's something that gives you time. And that's what she's got more than any other player.
All right, plenty of things to think about. Joey, what are your rule changes?
My number 1 is tackling a kicker downfield. I see kickers now who have a really poor defensive set. Someone like Mitchell Moses, they get a slow play of the ball, but they can stand on the advantage line and Mitchell kicks it 60 metres downfield. There's no reward for a good defensive set. Normally in years gone by, he would have to stand behind the advantage line 10, 15 metres and would have to run sideways to get away from the kicker, which means the opposition team gets the ball back on their 30 or even their 40. Well, now he just stands up and nails it. They get the ball back on their 15. So that's one. But it's got to be above the waist. The act of scoring a try, as need to regrip the ball. The Stephen Crichton one the other night, where I was quite vocal about it. We're going to look at the difference between what he does and Sam Morani's last try, where it's the same movement of downward pressure. The only difference is Sam Morani doesn't propel the ball forward and come out of his hand. And this is a quirky one. Should be awarded 5 points for scoring from your inside the 40. So what that does, if a team's up by 12, for instance, with 5 minutes to go, and they score a try, so they're down by 6, they might have 2 sets coming out of trouble, where if they score from inside their 40, which means they get 5 points and could possibly win the game. So what that does, it causes excitement, but it makes teams move the ball coming out of trouble. I hate watching 5 in for a kick to the corner, 5 in for a kick to the corner. If you got that opportunity, you give incentive for teams to move the ball coming out of trouble. How good are these scenes? What about the try the other day at Leichhardt?
Would you worry about with massive blowouts in the scores?
No. I go to the game to watch attack. I don't go to watch defence. I want to see ball movement. I want to see long-range tries. When the 2-point field goal came in, I thought, oh, this is ridiculous. But the way Nathan nailed those 2-point field goals to get his team, he's done it 2 or 3 times. It's had so much excitement. But encourage ball movement coming out of trouble at the last 5 minutes. The opportunity, when you're down by 6, to score 7 points to win it.
The other way you could encourage ball movement is have 50-20s, not 40-20s. That sends the wingers back. Wingers that have to actually sit back behind the line. They have it in rugby union, where you can kick a 50-20. And it's only a 30-metre kick, but what it would do, you'd have to have people back on that in those areas. And then what that would encourage is then passing the ball because there'd be space out on the edge.
But when you see a team move the ball and a winger, remember the other year when Dominic Young got the ball and went down that sideline? That happened the other day.
Canberra. Foxy did it.
At Canberra. Got the intercept.
It was unbelievable.
The long-range tries, like they won at Leichhardt the other day when Jareen Buller scored. It was just so good to watch.
It had everyone on
and
their
the
feet.
crowd
for
was
sure,
up.
Yeah.
What do you want to watch? 5 in, 5 in, 5 in.
kick.
Kick to the corner, cage kick.
Even Scott Drinkwater said he was watching that try and he was sort of part of the ball as it was getting moved through. And he said all you could hear, it just got louder and louder and louder. And then Buller got the ball and he said it was just insane.
Because over the last 2 years, I definitely know last year, but you'd think that one team that would benefit from that would be the Dolphins because they had scored the most tries from inside.
Well, they got a halfback that moves the ball and they got blokes out wide called Herbie Farnworth and Hammerser. Playing to their strengths. Well done.
All right, Freddie, let's dive a little bit into some more detail about one of your rules. Your first rule, I think it was on your list, the 20-metre restart.
Well, I can't understand why we've brought it to you can only run it, a person can run the ball there or you can only throw it 10 metres. We've sort of made a rule around a rule. Like, get rid of them. Just throw the ball back as quick as you can. The way players work now and the way they can react to situations, what you'd find is there's a bad kick over that way, here's a winger running here, and then all of a sudden they've got to play to counter that straight away.
Can I be devil's advocate?
What's that?
So would the attacking team play negative then and not even kick the ball and run to the corner?
Well, they do now and they get 7 tackles, so... But they do run into corners now anyway, but I couldn't imagine that being a problem.
But you also said catching the ball in the end goal isn't a 7-tackle restart.
Because I don't think there's certain kicks that are worse than others, or I think need consequences should be worse. I think the 7 tackles at the moment, it's a really big consequence. You know, when you get a kick wrong, I can understand that.
By that much?
Yeah. I just feel like there's ways we could look at that, whether you're catching on the fulls, not 7 tackles, or the one where it actually got brought in was for the kicking dead. I remember Cronulla doing it on the Gold Coast against Billy Slater. And they were just kicking the ball dead, and St George are doing it as well, like 2010. And then just walking up and standing on the 30-metre line and just ready to defend. So, yeah, that's definitely something we could look into.
Well, there you go, food for thought. I'm sure there were another couple that wanted to make the list this year, but we'll have to save those ones for next year. But, yeah, some interesting points there.
Time out in the last 5 minutes. Stop the time. You go to basketball, the only exciting part's the last minute. They stop it 400 times. Stop the time.
All right, maybe your list is a little longer.